What is the Communist Party's position on proportional representation?
Well, we are very strongly supportive of proportional representation, and we think most Canadians are. There have been various referenda across the country, which, if the pro proportional representation forces had had the adequate funds to explain to people what it is, I'm quite convinced it would have passed. Here in British Columbia and also in Ontario, we had one in Ontario in 2007, or 2007, and in other places too. So proportional representation is attractive to people because of the fact that we've had very right-wing governments like the Harper government, with 60% of voters voting against it, able to actually form a majority government and govern as though they had the confidence of the whole country, when in fact the majority were really distressed with the kind of policies that they were unveiling. So people are looking for something that is a lot more democratic and a lot more responsive to public opinion, and that will carry through on the kinds of policies that people want. And that's the attraction to PR. We have been campaigning for proportional representation for many, many years. And we see that around the world, there are a lot of countries have proportional representation. And small parties have been able to elect. The Communist Party has a representation, but also social democratic parties usually have larger representation, more in line with the support that they have in the population. We see more women elected with proportional representation, more racialized people, Indigenous people, people with disabilities. It's just a system which will guarantee a much more representative parliament and one much more attuned, because of the numbers, that it doesn't first past the post ensures that whoever gets more than everybody else in a particular riding is elected, even though that may be well under a majority may have voted against them and against their government. So that's the appeal to it. Of course, you may know that the Communist Party has been fighting for electoral reforms of all sorts for many, many years. We went in the 1990s through quite a battle with the Rowley government, which in 1993, just weeks before that federal election, brought in legislation requiring political parties to field a minimum of 50 candidates and put $50,000 on the table before they even spent a nickel on a leaflet, which they had to deposit with the government. And most small parties lost those deposits. They never got them back. And so the Communist Party, and the consequences of not doing that were to be deregistered, so that any party caught in that loop would be unable to participate in federal elections, unable to issue tax receipts, or it'd be very difficult for them to make their views known. Well, the Communist Party was caught in that web. It was intended to, Mulroney was intending to wipe out all of the small parties in Canada, plus the Bloc Québécois, which was just being born at that time, and anticipating the Green Party and so forth. It was a really draconian move. We decided that we had to fight them, and we took them to court using their charter rights, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, that they had discriminated against all the small parties. We had the support of the Green Party at that time, as well as the Marxist-Leninist Party, and many prominent members of the NDP, and also of some from the Bloc Québécois. And many Canadians, we fought in the courts. We also fought in the court of public opinion, and people understood what we were doing. We won at the lower level, so the government appealed. And then we won at the appealed levels, and they appealed again. And we finally, was finally settled in the Ontario Supreme Court, and we didn't win everything, but we won The most important parts of our case, we regained our registration. The funds that they took from us, we got back. And we opened the door for small parties to exist in Canada. And this was the Figueroa case. This is the name of our previous leader, Miguel Figueroa, and it's a case that's one of the important ones in Canadian electoral law litigation and in litigation about democracy in this country.